It still remains.
Laura's going to kick you out. Okay, so if you look at
this guy, so pay me later.
And she just worked out. She's ready to go.
I'm going to try to set up a framework for you guys to kind of help understand like the conversation, because I think if we really kind of focus on this and we really train ourselves to pay attention to this, and again, for me, I have to consciously think about where I am in a conversation, because my tendency is to want to just close, right? Somebody says, I have a problem, I have a solution, I just want to deliver that solution, right? And we find that to be very ineffective. We get resistance, right? Because we haven't built trust, we haven't built rapport with them. And so there's a process to a conversation that you can go through. And we have 4 different ways that we teach this. And this way I've never talked to you guys before. I've never showed it this way. But if you think about at first contact with somebody, they're kind of in, again, neutral position with you. They don't know if they know you, like you, or trust you. This could be over the phone. This could be when you're door knocking the NED. They're looking at you like, who the heck are you, right? I don't need you. If I needed you, I would have called you, right? Yeah. Why are you at my door, right? Or at an expired, you first talk to them. They're saying, I don't have a problem. What problem, right? That's neutral. That's where they start. Okay? And then what we have to do is, if solution is here, okay, or let's say their goal is up here, this is what they're trying to achieve, it's really easy for us to say, oh, here's where you're at, here's where you want to go, let me just deliver you the solution. So your listing is expired, you should hire me to sell your home, right? I'm the solution, right? And we want to deliver that. But then when we do that, they just instantly resist, right? It's kind of funny, it's like, it's like when you go into Best Buy, right? I know a lot of us haven't been at Best Buy in a while, but if you walk into Best Buy, and you're not going in there on accident, right? You're not looking for the fastest way to the alley. That's not why you're walking through Best Buy. So you're walking into Best Buy, you're obviously looking for something, right? And you walk in the door and they say what to you?
Don't steal anything.
Don't steal anything.
Yeah, we're going to stand right here and watch you.
Okay, you
I
need
help?
to sit
In
right
the
here,
corner.
closer to the door.
In the corner. They say, can I help you, right? And then what do we respond?
No.
Just looking.
No, I'm just looking, right? And it's because what they're trying to do is take you from contact, we're in neutral position, and they're trying to get to solution too quick, right? So, what do you, can I help you? What are you looking for? They're delivering to solution. And our internal programming automatically resists when somebody tries to do that, okay? That's the way we're wired. Because the first thing we're trying to figure out is friend or foe. Can I trust this person? Is this person going to eat me? Or is this person going to help me, right? Are they going to kill me and attack me, or are they going to help me? So they're in neutral, okay? And so we can't give to solution because they don't know if they trust us yet, okay? So the first thing we have to do is begin to create a dialogue of rapport, right? We got to get through rapport. So in the NEDs, the way we're building rapport is through knowledge, right? What we're doing is providing a service to inform people that are in foreclosure that there are 7 options from this point, a few of which will keep you in your home, okay? We're delivering knowledge free of charge in order to gain rapport, okay? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build rapport, okay? Now, that, believe it or not, is moving them in this direction here, okay? And this direction is called negative present, okay? Which is what's going on in your world right now in your world is not okay, right? And I understand where you're at right now, and I'm empathetic, not sympathetic. You understand the difference between empathy and sympathy? Empathy is, I can relate, I've been in this situation or a similar situation too, where I had something happen and I didn't know what to do, right? Sympathy is, I'm sorry for you. How does that go over when somebody acts that way with you?
Not well.
Right? I'm sorry this is happening to you, right?
Sucks to be.
They're the hero. I'm sorry this is happening to you. You're an idiot. You're doing it wrong. That doesn't build rapport. That repels, right? So we move to negative present which is down below, okay? And if you think about here, here's the water line, right? So this is trying to move them to solution, but we have to go underwater with them. We got to scuba dive. We got to get deep into the emotional side of people before they'll actually make a change. So then we get to negative present. We say, so your situation is that your property has been filed as a foreclosure in the state of Colorado, and we provide a service of making sure that homeowners understand their rights under the foreclosure, what they have, their rights, and there's 7 options in order to prevent them from, losing their home. Do you know what your 7 options are? Some of which will keep you in your home. Okay. Negative present. That's where we just brought it. Okay. This is rapport. Okay. Empathy. I can't spell empathy. I was right on there, and I just lost it.
T-H-Y, you get it.
So now we go negative present, and now we give solution, right? Now we just say, okay, here's your solution. You go here. True? No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Because in order for somebody to move, to make a change, because naturally, humans, psychology, we don't like change. We're going to resist change. We're going to resist doing anything different. So if you think about the word emotion, motion is from emotion. So there's no motion, there's no change without an emotional connection to it. So we actually have to bring them from here to down here. We have to get them deeper into the water. That means we got to go in with them, into the muck. We got to get down and dirty with them and feel their pain. Empathetically feel their pain, right? Not wound them to wound them, but wound them to help them understand what it is. And so we have to go to negative, future. Okay? So negative future is, if you continue doing what you're doing, this is what's going to happen. This is your presentation, guys. This is when you're in front of them and you're presenting to them, you're sitting down with them. If you take the same framework with an expired listing, it's the same thing. So neutral is, hi, my name's Sean with Steps Real Estate. The reason I'm calling today is your home showed up as an expired listing in the multiple listing service. Can I ask you, is the home still for sale? Neutral. We're neutral. We have no rapport with them. No, I mean, it's not for sale right now, but, we were going to try to sell, but we took it off the market. Oh, okay, so if I brought you an offer today for a price that was acceptable to you, would you sell? I might sell. Can I ask you, if you were to sell, where were you moving to? Negative present. That's where we're going with this conversation. We're on the phone. Negative present on the phone with them. Where were you moving to? Well, we were going to downsize and get into a smaller house. Oh, so you're looking to reduce the size of the house? Are you looking to reduce your payments, or are you just trying to get something that's a little bit more manageable? A little of both. We're trying to get into something more manageable. Negative present. What's going on in their life right now that's triggering them to make this decision? Okay? Now we have to move them to negative future. Here's where people make a mistake with expireds. They try to do it over the phone. Right? That's trying to close over the phone. You're not there yet. Like when you're massively experienced and you're like a telemarketing machine, you might close over the phone for efficiency's sake because you're trying to weed out the maybes. Everybody else, the rest of us, we do that at the appointment, okay? Don't do it over the phone because you're going to burn good deals. Because over the phone, you don't have the rapport built yet where they're going to share with you their negative future and what's really going on in their life, right? They got to like you. So I share the example is I had a client that called me one day and he said, hey, Sean, I got your name for my daughter. You sold my daughter a house, 7 years ago. And he says, and I had my house on the market with another agent. It didn't sell. And she says, I should use you. I said, okay, great. Tell me about your situation. I'm 72 years old. My wife and I want to downsize into something smaller and get our payments down. Okay, great. So I'm on the phone. So I went from neutral, build rapport really quick because of the daughter. The relationship with the daughter builds rapport. So I'm able to cross this line. What's going on in your life? I want to downsize. Now I go out and meet with them, and I'm at the appointment. Okay. Now I got to get into what's really going on. So in this conversation, Heather and I are there. We're talking with the couple, and we notice like there's some incongruencies, right? There's some of the property isn't fixed up as nice as it should be. He'd been there for 35 years, okay? And he had it priced on the market at $220. When we pulled comps, it came out to about like $175 in the condition it was, because it was like home-built doors on the, like he'd been fixing the house for 35 years. He raised his family in this house. They grew up. His kids moved out, the whole bit, and they're still in his home. So there's something that wasn't right. So I had to continue to dig deeper, right? I have to continue to dig deeper with him to find out what's really going on. But I'm still in negative present, okay? So I start to get in this conversation, and I ask him, are you current on payments? And he says, well, actually, no, I'm not. And I was like, okay, so what's your situation? And he says, well, I bought this house a long time ago. I think he paid like $100,000 for the house. Maybe less, $75,000 maybe. It was a long time ago. He paid very little for the house. And over the past few years, he got caught up in predatory lending, where they would refinance him, and then he'd get behind on payments, and they would call him and say, hey, you're behind on payments. If you refinance, you can make your payments. And so they kept adding more to his balance to the point where he owes $200,000 on the home. So where did he come up with the $220,000 valuation? Was paying the commissions and getting just enough out where he thought he'd be able to move his family somewhere, okay? So now I know negative present. I'm in rapport with him. This is how I know I'm in rapport, is he's sharing with me what's going on. Now, I'm empathetic, not sympathetic. Oh, I'm sorry for you. I'm empathetic. Boy, that's tough. That's a tough situation to be in. I said, have you ever missed a payment before in your life? And he said, no. I was in the military. I pay my bills on time. I mean, this man was embarrassed to have this conversation. You could see the tears in his eyes, right? And he was upset. And you could see him kind of welling up, and he goes, I've never missed a payment in my life. He was embarrassed, right? If I'm sympathetic right there, I'm losing him. Empathy. I can relate. I can understand being in that situation. And let me ask you some more questions. Now, I have to move him from negative present to negative future, which is, if you continue this behavior without making a change, which is putting his head in the sand, trying to sell his house for more than it's worth in a market that was down at that time, it was a bad market at that time, he's going to end up with a foreclosure, okay? So I have to move him. So if you don't sell your house, this is a question I asked, if you don't sell your house, what is your plan? He says, I have about $75,000 left in my retirement account. I'll probably cash it out and get the mortgage paid up. Right? Now here's the problem. He's retired. He's on a fixed income. His wife just retired 6 months earlier. She's on a fixed income, Social Security. Their combined income isn't enough to pay the payments. This is a very bad idea. Right? There's a reason why in personal bankruptcy they exclude your retirement accounts, because the government doesn't want you to become a dependent of them, right? So of course I ask him the logical question, have you considered a short sale, okay? This is what he says. Well, I saw it on TV that short sales were happening, so I called my real estate agent and I asked him, can we do one of these short sales? And the agent told me that short sales are for people that are manipulating the mortgage, and they're the ones who are ruining the economy. So now you have a man who's 72 years old, feeling bad about not being current on his payments, and now the agent who's supposed to be protecting him just shamed him, right, into making the wrong decision for his best interest, right? So I said, well, let me give you a different perspective. Now, we are in negative future, okay? We are living here at this point. a short sale was, I said, yes, there are people that manipulate short sales. Okay, there are people that in parts of the country will sell their house, buy another house, and short sale their old home. In California, there's no requirement for the mortgage company to come back after. There's no personal guarantee on mortgages in California, so you could non-recourse. Thank you. So you can do that. You can go buy another house and short your existing house and walk away from the debt. Colorado's not that way, right? I said so here's the thing. A short sale was actually designed for somebody in your situation. The government and the bank would much rather release you from this mortgage, get you into something more affordable down the road, instead of you cashing out your retirement and becoming dependent on the government, okay? They actually want you to do this. This is designed for somebody like you. And personally, I feel like you were a victim of predatory lending. You shouldn't have been put in a situation where they allowed you to borrow this much money against this house, okay? That's what I told you. So, negative future. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to list the house. We're going to put it up for sale. We're going to sell it for now literally we had 35 days before the sale date. I forgot to tell you that. He pulls out a letter that's the intent to foreclose, and we're 35 days out. Like, I'm like,
He was already there.
yeah, I mean, the train has left the station on this deal,
Yeah.
right? So I said, we're going to sell it. 160 is what we sold it for. As is 160 cash offer. I said, look, we can't have a loan. We can't have an inspection, because if that thing falls through at the last minute, we're done. You lost your house, right? And you lose, you foreclose. You can't buy for 7 years. You do a short sale 2 years from today, you're going to be able to buy. Okay? So now look what I did. I went negative future. Now I'm building the steps. Get it? The steps to the solution. Okay? Yeah, you got it now, huh? Why'd you come up with that name Steps? You'll figure it out. So we're building the steps to the future, which is we're going to sell the property to an investor that's just going to buy it. There's going to be a deficiency. Right now, at that time, on your personal residence, the deficiency was going to be forgiven. After 2 years from now, so you're going to have to go rent for 2 years. Do you have a place to go? He says, I have a friend who will let me rent a portion of his house for $600 a month for my wife and I. Perfect. I mean, their fixed income was like $4,000 a month. $600 is the right number. 2 years from now, after the sale, you'll be able to purchase again. Okay? And he was very intent that he wanted to be a homeowner. He was like, I want to own a home again. I made a mistake. I don't want to live with this mistake. Okay? So we price the property, get it sold, closes. 2 years to the day, he buys another home. Was it upstate New York? Michigan. A trailer, right, on like 5 acres for $75,000. FHA, low money down. He can pay the payment on his fixed income. And he's like, thank you so much for helping me. I can't imagine where I'd be without you. Okay? That's the process. Okay? The other agent said, neutral, contact, do you want to sell your house? Here's the solution. What we did was take him through the process. Okay? That's what you have to do with your foreclosure people. You have to bring them through the process. Negative future for an expired listing, they're going to expire again. They're not going to actually get the house sold. They're not going to be able to get to downsize, move to where they want to move, do the things that they want to do. That's the negative future. Or they miss the market. Because as we know right now, the market's climbing, but it will start to stabilize and decline. An expired listing could miss the top of that market and end up selling for less in the future if they miss the market, right? So negative future. You've got to go to negative future, and you've got to get to that emotion. If you're not in emotion with them, if you don't feel some connection and emotion, you don't have rapport.